Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we're trying some new makeup. Most of it is just new to me, some of it is a little bit newer on the market, but we're gonna have fun with it. So I have this little bag with stuff mostly from Boozy Shop. I think mostly affordable things, but there is some Charlotte Tilbury, some Glamlite, things that I've acquired over the past couple of weeks and that we're going to try today. So I have the Glamlite Icy palette, the blue one. I have these cream gel blushes from Kruidvat, which is the Dutch drugstore brand that I often cover in 2 shades. I have this Essence Fresh and Fit foundation, which said on the site that it was new, so we're going to see how this one works. I have this awesome mascara that I wanted to try for the longest time. It's the Panda's Dream mascara from Tony Moly. I really like their skincare stuff and their primers, so I wanted to try their mascara too, and now it was on sale, so we're going to give that a try. I have one of the nude lipsticks from Charlotte Tilbury in the shade Cover Star. And then finally I have this highlighter, a liquid highlighter pen from Makeup Revolution, the Bright Light highlighter, which I'm sure will be very interesting. I don't have the best luck with liquid highlighters, but this one seemed promising, so we're going to give that a try. We're just going to do a full face. I'll supplement where necessary, but I think this is enough to call this a trying new makeup video. So real quick before we get started, I want to thank you so much for clicking on my video. My name is Cecile, I'm 28 years old, I live in the Netherlands, and I upload 2 to 3 videos a week with makeup related content. So if you're interested in new releases, older releases, trying new things, recreating stuff with old things, a little bit of everything, high-end, drugstore, indie sometimes, then please consider subscribing. And now let's get into this trying new makeup video. If you're wondering why my face looks so super dewy glowy, it's because I applied skincare, and I hardly ever do that. I only apply a little bit of moisturizer every now and then, but now I use the moisturizing toner, something of an eye gel, and then a pretty thick layer of a cream. And my face feels horrible, so yeah. It looks kind of shiny, it looks kind of nice, but it feels so greasy. Anyway, we're going to start with the Icy palette from Glamlite. I've had this in my pouch thingy for a couple of weeks now, but I wanted to film it whenever I used it for the first time. So this is the color story. It's this beautiful blue color story. I did watch a lot of reviews before buying this one, and I think the quality overall is deemed very good. It's just lacking something of a very light inner corner shade, but I don't really care about those. I mainly care about the fact if it's deep enough, and I think it will be. And I just wanted some nice pretty blue shades. So, and this palette wasn't that expensive. I think it was pretty doable. So yeah, I decided to order this one. I'm going to prime my eyes using the Icing primer from Glamlite. I'm going to start with the deepest shade. So I'm going into this one, which is called Melted, with a smaller pencil brush. I really like the fact that there are different tones of blue in here, but that they still all sort of seem to work together. I feel like this is one of those palettes that you can just pick whatever deeper matte shade you want with whatever lighter shimmery shade you want, and that it'll create a beautiful look. Let me do a halo eye for once. I haven't done that in a while. So I quite recently tried the Glamlite Ice Cream Dream palette, and I really liked it. I love the quality and the brightness and the pigmentation of the shades, but I guess the color story wasn't ideal for me. It was lacking some deeper shades, some really light shades. It's just, it was less diverse than I was expecting. But I still really like it, I still use it all the time. So I wanted to give them another shot in a color story that was probably a little bit more suited for me. I really wanted to try the red one too, but the red shades all looked very similar. It looked like it could have been a 5-pan palette too. So I decided on the blue one. So far this blue is working beautifully. You can definitely build it up to be about the color that it is in the pan. I think this is my base for the halo eye. I'm going to blend it out using this shade over here, which is called Blue Raspberry, which I think is the name of the palette. Yeah, it's the Blue Raspberry palette. I don't think we have ices in the Netherlands, but we do have Slurpees, which I'm pretty sure is the same thing. We also have them in red and blue. I guess it would have been fun to be able to combine the two palettes. Yeah, I think those blend into each other well. Okay, now I definitely need a lighter shade. So I'm going into this light blue, which is called Frozenated. And I'm just going to go along the edges here. Yeah, that shade definitely translates a little bit deeper on the eye than it does in the pan. Okay, now I feel like deepening up the deepest parts again. So I'm going back with Melted, which was that first blue. And I'm just going to take that one up a little bit higher, especially on this eye. I feel like these mattes from Glamlite are really soft. They're really nice and easy to work with. Let me just do the lower lash line too. I'm just taking that same shade. I'm not going to do a halo on the lower lash line. I'm just filling in the complete lower lash line with that deep blue. And I like to close my inner corner too. It's getting dramatic really quickly, but I like it. I like the quality. I'm going in with Frozenated, which was that palest blue. And I'm just going to blend out the edges. I feel like I really didn't need the Blue Raspberry shade in between. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm just taking a big fluffy brush and I'm going to go over the edges, especially right there. Make them a little bit more soft. Let me add a blue eyeliner. This one is from LA Girl. Yeah, I think that looks kind of cool. Now let's add some shimmers. I'm taking this flat shader brush and I'm going into the shade Chillin', which is this blue. I'm just going to put that in the center. This is a really nice sparkly shade. I think this shimmer is already better than the shimmers in the Ice Cream Dream palette. They were just a little bit too wet and difficult to pick up. And I'm going to take Icy, which is this shimmer. And I'm going to put that one in between the other shimmer and the dark matte. And just to give it a try, I'm going to take Ice Cold, which is this shimmer shade, on a small smudger brush, and I'm going to put that in the inner corner. Yeah, I think that's nice. It's definitely not a highlighting inner corner like this, but I do like it. So I have quite a bit of fallout, but that's okay. I think this look is really pretty. For some reason, whenever I do a blue look, it turns out as dramatic as this one. I'm not sure what happens, but it happens every time. So let me put on my new mascara. They have two variants of this one. They have a volume and a lengthening, and I chose the volume one. So This is what it looks like. And usually these are like 17 euros. But I got it for half. So I thought that was acceptable. Alright. It's easy. The formula is a little bit less thick than I would like. But I imagine it will thicken over time. So maybe next week or so it's the perfect substance. I like the brush. It's a natural haired brush in a slightly hourglass shape, but it's not very big. So I'm just adding a second coat. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. Keep in mind that with such a dark background, it's difficult to judge a mascara. Yeah, I think that looks nice. So let me clean up the fallout and let's get into the face. So I cleaned up my under eyes and there was definitely some fallout laying there. But this is what the eyes are looking like. I think they're very dramatic. I always have a problem with this. So when I finish my face makeup, I'm also going to go back with this fluffy brush and a little bit of product to blend everything together. But for now, the eyes are done. I don't have anything new for the eyebrows, so I'm just taking a little bit of my ABH Brow Freeze. And I'm just putting that through my brows, sort of diagonally. So let's get into this Essence foundation. This is the Fresh and Fit foundation with a vitamin complex and niacinamide. This is what it looks like. The downside of this foundation was that it was very limited in its shades. I got the lightest one, which was Fresh Porcelain, and I think this is going to work for me. But there were only like 6 shades, and at least on Bougie Shop, and the darkest one was like maybe a medium. So that's definitely a downside, but I still wanted to give this one a try. So it says on the bottle, this weightless foundation gives you the perfect blend of makeup and skincare. So it's one of those again. I feel like every new foundation lately has skincare in it. For a natural glow, thanks to the vitamin complex of vitamin E, B5 and niacinamide. Medium to high coverage. That's interesting. That's a little bit more coverage than most of these newer foundations have. So I'm just going to take out 2.5 pumps at first. I don't have any primer or anything on my face. Like I said, I do have some skincare down. It has a little bit of a flowery smell. I don't really care for it, but it's not very potent. I think the shade is perfect. Right off the bat, I would say this coverage is a light medium, like I was expecting. Not that that's bad. You can probably build it up to at least a medium plus, but I don't get full coverage vibes from this. It is pretty glowy. I'll just do half of my face first. So this is a generous layer, but not an excessive amount on half of my face. You can definitely see that this side is way more red. So that already bumps it up to a light medium. But then you can still see all of these imperfections pretty well. Like more than with my Charlotte Tilbury New foundation, for instance. So that sort of makes it not a full medium to me. But I guess light medium, medium, definitely something like that. I feel like it looks alright, but it sort of enhances my little bumps and texture here, which not that many foundations do. I'm not very bothered by these little bumps. I usually don't even notice them. So the fact that I'm seeing them now makes me feel like this is not the most flattering foundation. But of course I'm speaking very soon. It looks alright. It definitely doesn't look bad. It looks fresh. I would give it that. So let me just add 2 more pumps and I'll do the other side of my face. Okay, so something I'm noticing is that there are some streaks when applying this foundation with a brush. I almost wonder if this one would look a little bit better when applied with a sponge. And I think it oxidizes a little bit. It's definitely a little bit darker now. But right here on my nose, you see those little lines, and usually I can just buff those away with my brush, but it's a little bit more difficult this time. So I still have some foundation left on my hand, because for some reason those second 2 pumps were a lot bigger than the first. So we're just going to see how this layers. So you can see this is lighter. I never layer my foundations up. I just accept the coverage that they give, and I always apply a generous amount in the first place. But I think this might be helpful for some other people. Yeah, I think that definitely bumped the coverage up a little bit. So I'd say it's a medium now. Light medium, medium. So overall first impression, not bad. I think it actually looks pretty good. I was just expecting a medium to full coverage and it's not, but that's okay. I can live with that. It's a little bit streaky. That's something I'm taking off points for. But it is very affordable. It's like $5 or something. So yeah, let me just add some concealer real quick. I have the ABH concealer here. Just putting a little bit underneath my eyes, not highlighting the center of my face so we can see how the foundation behaves. So applied some ABH concealer and now I'm going into my Dreamy Glow Gel Cream Blush from Kruidvat. I have this one in the shade Delicate Apricot. I also have the shade Delicate Honey, which I tried before, which looks kind of pretty. But I wanted to try this apricot one. So I'm just taking a little bit on my finger. I'm just going to dab a little bit right here. Ooh, that's a nice color. It's subtle, but it is pretty. And when I look really up close, I don't think my foundation has broken up at all. So it works well on top of foundation, and I did notice that the other time I used it as well with the other shade. So I like this. I think you shouldn't use any powder on top of this, then it'll disappear. But I'll use a little bit of powder right here. I have this Poreless Perfection powder from Catrice that I'm giving a second chance at the moment. So I'm going to use just a little bit of this right underneath my eyes, only where I used the concealer. I dusted the excess here, but I think this is nice. Oh, I forgot I also have a cream highlight. I should have probably used that one earlier, but that's okay. So this is this Makeup Revolution highlighter. I really like this packaging. I think they have the same packaging for their concealer, which they stole or sort of got inspired by Charlotte Tilbury. I have this one in the shade Strobe Champagne. But I feel like it's definitely more of a rosy tone. So I'm just clicking up some product. Something is coming out. Oh, this one doesn't have the little window. That's okay, they're very deceiving anyway. I'm just going to put this... Oh, I need a little bit more. Looks kind of gross. But the color is nice. Yeah, the color is really nice. Also putting a little bit right here. This actually seems really promising. Just going to take my finger and dab. So I don't really notice it picking up any of my foundation, but I definitely used a little bit more than I thought. It's a little bit difficult to tap out if you use too much product. So I'm just going to take my sponge. Yeah, so I feel like you should use only a little bit at a time. But it looks pretty nice. More natural than I was expecting. I wouldn't say it disappears. You can definitely see a little bit of highlight, but it's not a very pinky tone. And it's not that much more glowy than my foundation already was. So I'm not really convinced. I like it, I don't love it. Like I said, a cream highlighter really doesn't always work for me. But this one is not bad. So before I forget, I'm going to take my big brush from the eyeshadow. I'm taking my NYX Lift and Snatch for my brows. Just a little bit. So now we're pretty much done. I could use a little bit of bronzer. So I'm taking my Dior. I hit pan in this one recently. And you can see that it's actually quite a deep pan. I hope they make the refills soon. Just adding a little bit of powder bronzer. And I chose a matte one on purpose because everything else is already so dewy. So we're almost done. All that I have left is my lipstick from Charlotte Tilbury. Like I said, this is in the shade Cover Star, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this is a Matte Revolution. This is going to replace my Live It Up lipstick, but it's definitely a bit of a different shade, but I thought this one matched me better at the moment. Yeah, this is a nice shade. I like it. This could definitely be an everyday lipstick for me. It's a little bit more grungy than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a little bit more beigey, even sort of pinky, just a little bit. But it's definitely very brown, and I'd even say it looks a little bit cool toned. But it could be my lip lines. So we're done. This is my finished makeup look. I really like how it came out. I know it's very intense, but I liked it. So far this foundation is looking really good. It doesn't really settle in any of my lines. It's not as perfecting as some of the other glowy foundations that I own. The new Charlotte Tilbury definitely has something of a smoothing property that this one does not have. But I can live with that. I still think it looks pretty. It was a little bit much with all of those glowy, dewy products on top, but I do like the blush and the highlight. I can definitely see them a little bit more now that I'm zoomed out. I really like the eyeshadow palette. I think it could have used some very light shades, but I like this look, and yeah, I like blues, so that's definitely nice. And this lipstick, I already knew I loved the formula, and I really like this shade too. So the only thing I guess I'm not really sure about is this mascara. It looks a little bit too natural for me, but it is very separating and it doesn't really smudge, so I guess it's not that bad. And I still really like the packaging, but I wished it was a little bit more volumizing. So I guess that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.